Hello, welcome to this new English lesson on Untitled TV. I hope it will help you learn English. I wish you good and useful time. There are different ways to talk about past actions, and in our lesson today, we will focus on the past perfect tense. We are going to learn how to form and how to use the past perfect. أعزائي، سيدور درسنا اليوم حول زمن الماضي التام، تكوينه واستخدامه. Let's start. We'll begin with a dialogue. We are going to listen to a dialogue between Mike and Sammy and notice how they express past actions. Let's read the dialogue together. Mike, listen. Guess what happened this morning? Sammy, what? Mike, well, I was taking a book back to the library when I saw my friends in the park feeding the ducks. I stopped, put down the book, and started feeding the ducks with them. Sammy, what happened next? Mike, when we had finished, we went to get a drink. I didn't remember the book until I had left the park. Sammy, oh no, what did you do? Mike, well, I ran back, but the book had gone. I was worried because I had to pay for another book. Sammy, then? Mike, when we got to the library, we began to explain, but the assistant was smiling. She showed us the book. Somebody had brought it short time ago. Now, Sammy said, I was taking a book to the library. I saw my friends this morning. Somebody had brought the book. Now, let's look at the first sentence. The verb is was taking. This is past continuous tense. Remember, we use the past continuous to talk about actions that were going on at a certain time in the past, and the duration of the action is quite long. Now let's look at the second sentence. I saw my friends this morning. The verb is saw. This verb is in the past simple tense. And remember, we use the past simple tense for actions that began and ended in the past. Now the third one. Somebody had brought the book. The verb is had brought. This is past perfect tense. But why do we use the past perfect? Let's see together. Until yesterday, I had never seen a real tiger. Where's the verb in this sentence? The verb is had seen. This verb is in the past perfect tense. Let's look at the sentence more carefully. Look at the timeline. This line shows the past, and this point shows the present or now. When we say yesterday, we are talking about a certain time in the past or a certain point in the past. Now, before yesterday, I had never seen a tiger. We are talking about an action that happened before yesterday, before a certain time in the past. Notice, I'm not talking about now. If I'm talking about now, I will say, I've seen a tiger. I saw one yesterday. That was the first time. And before yesterday, I had never seen a tiger. So notice, we use the past perfect to talk about an action that happened before yesterday, before a certain time in the past. And now let's have another example. By the end of May 2013, we had finished our final exams. Where's the verb in this sentence? Good. The verb is had finished. This verb is also in the past perfect tense. Let's look at the timeline. May 2013, that was in the past. This is a point in the past. Now, we had finished the exams before May 2013. Finishing the exams happened before May 2013. So again, we are using the past perfect tense to talk about an action that happened before a certain point in the past. Now, can you answer this question? Why do we use the past perfect tense? The answer is, we use the past perfect tense to emphasize that something happened before a certain time in the past. إذن للتأكيد على أن حدثاً ما قد حصل قبل وقت معين في الماضي نستخدم زمن الماضي التام. Now, let's see this example. The house was very quiet when I got home. Everybody had gone to bed. Notice we have two sentences here. The first sentence is, the house was very quiet when I got home. And the second one is, everybody had gone to bed. Look at the verbs. We have got and we have had gone. Got is a verb in the past simple. And the second one is in the past perfect. Let's look at the timeline and see. Now, everybody had gone to bed at 10 o'clock yesterday night. Then, or after that, I got home. I got home at 1 p.m., at 1 after midnight. So, this is the first action, and after this action, I got home. This is the second action. So, notice we have two actions. Both of them happened in the past, but one happened before the other. First, everybody had gone to bed, then I got home. So notice we have two actions, both happened in the past, but one happened before the other. Now the past perfect is the first action, and we use the past simple for the second action. And one more example, look at the pictures and let's read the sentence. The thief simply walked in. This is the first one. Someone had left the door open. Where is the verb in the first sentence? Good. The first verb is walked. What tense is that? Good. It is past simple tense. And the second one, we have had left. This verb is in the past perfect tense. Let's look at the timeline and explain it. The thief had walked in. Someone had left the door open. Now, the first action is somebody had left the door open. And that's why the thief walked in. This is the second action. And remember, two of these actions happened in the past. For the first action, we use the past perfect, and for the action that happened next, we use the past simple. So again, dear students, we have two actions. Both of them happened in the past, but one happened before the other. We use the past perfect to express the first action and the past simple for the second action. So notice, to emphasize that something happened before something else happened, we use past perfect with past simple tense. أحياناً عزيزي الطالب يكون لدينا حدثان كلاهما حصل في الماضي ولكن أحدهما سبق الآخر. نستخدم الماضي التام للحدث الأول ونستخدم زمن الماضي البسيط للحدث الثاني. We'll stop for a short break and we'll soon be back. Stay with us. Dear students, welcome back. Now, how do we form the past perfect tense? Now, we form the past perfect tense with had plus the past participle. had زائد التصريف الثالث للفعل. And notice, had goes with all subject pronouns. The past participle, remember, most verbs form their past participle by adding ed to the end of the verb. We call them regular verbs. For example, the past participle of walk, walked. Play, played. But some verbs are irregular. They have different forms. For example, the past participle of eat is eaten, of read is read, of break, broken. So in affirmative sentences, we say, I had made it. We had made it. So had goes with all subject pronouns. You can say she had made it, he had made it. Now, in negative sentences, we add not to the end of had. So we say, I had not made it, we had not made it. And sometimes we use short forms or contractions. We say, I hadn't made it, she hadn't made it. And in questions, notice, had precedes the subject pronoun. We say, had you made it? Had she made it? Now, dear students, we connect the past simple and the past perfect in different ways. As we noticed before, we can use past simple and past perfect in one sentence, and we connect them by these connectors. Look, most of them are time connectors. When, after, until, because, as soon as, before, by the time. Now let's have an example. Look at the pictures and let's read the sentence. After the thief had escaped, the police arrived. We have two sentences connected with a connector after. Where are the verbs? We have had escaped and we have arrived. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Did the police arrest the thief? Think carefully and look at the verb forms. Yes, the police didn't arrest the thief. Let's look at the verbs. We have had escaped. This is past perfect, so it is the action that happened first. Then after that, the police arrived. So the police arrived after the thief had escaped. So they didn't catch him. Let's move to another example. Before I went to play football, I had done my homework. We have two sentences connected with before. The first verb is went. It is in the past simple tense. And the other one is had done. Which of these actions happened first? Of course, he had done his homework first. This verb is in the past perfect, so it is the action that happened first. Then, or after that, he went to play football. And let's look at these pictures and read the example. When we had finished eating, we washed the dishes. Where are the verbs in this sentence? Great. The first verb is had finished, and the second one is washed. What tense is this? Good. It is in the past perfect. So it is the action that happened first. What about washed? This is the second action because it is in the past simple. So we have two actions. Both of them happened in the past, but one happened before the other. First, they had eaten the dinner, then they washed the dishes. Let's look at the pictures and read the sentence. By the time the firemen arrived, the house had burned down. Again, we have two sentences joined with the connector by the time. Where are the verbs? Great. We have arrived and we have had burned. Arrived is in the past simple and the second verb had burned is in the past perfect. So which of these actions happened first? First, the house had burned down, then the firemen arrived. So they were a little bit late, maybe. Now look at the pictures. As soon as the bell had rung, students left the class. Where are the verbs? We have the bell had rung. What tense is that? It is past perfect. And what about the verb left? This verb is in the past simple. So which of them happened first? Great. First, the bell had rung. Then, after the bell had rung, the students left the class or they left the school. So, let's notice the use of the comma. After the accident had happened, the ambulance arrived. Now, when we use the time connector or any connector at the beginning of the sentence, we put the comma. And when we don't begin with a connector after or before or as soon as, we don't need the comma. So be careful when using the comma. Now, we will have some practice, but after the break. Stay with us. Dear students, welcome back. It's time to practice. Now, I'm going to give you two sentences and notice the difference between them. We have, when we arrived at the cinema, the film started. And the second one, when we arrived at the cinema, the film had started. Think carefully, what's the difference between the two sentences? And look carefully at the verb tenses. Look at the first sentence. We have the verb arrived and the verb started. Both tenses are in the past simple tense. So it means when we arrived at the cinema, the film started at the same time. So we were on time. We weren't late. But look at this sentence. When we arrived at the cinema, the film had started. We have a verb in the past simple tense and the other verb is in the past perfect. So this happened first, the film started, then or after that, we arrived. So we were late. Let's move to another activity. We are going to make up past reasons of the following events and try to use the past perfect with the past simple. Let's begin with number one. Look at the picture and read the sentence. I opened my wallet to take some money, but it was empty. Can you make up a reason and try to use the past perfect? What happened before that? We can say, the wallet was empty because I have left the money at home. This action happened before I tried to open my wallet and I found it empty. So we have a verb in the past simple and a verb in the past perfect. And of course, the verb in the past perfect happened first. Next one. Look at this dress. She went back to buy the dress she wanted, but she didn't find it. Why? Can you make up or think of a reason? Good. I didn't find the dress, she says. I didn't find the dress. It had already been sold. We have the verb in the past perfect, but in the passive form. Let's move to the next one. Next activity. We are going to join sentences using a time connector. Let's begin with number one. Now look at the pictures. The kids ate the cake. They had put out the candles. Can you join these sentences using any connector? Great. We can say, the kids ate the cake after they had put out the candles. First, they put out the candles. Look, this verb is in the past perfect. And then they ate the cake. The second action should be in the past simple tense. Next one. We have two sentences. We are going to try to join them using any connector. Can you join them? Good. He lost his leg. He had had an accident. Which of these two actions happened first? Of course, he had had an accident first, then as a result of it, he lost his leg. So the sentence will be, he lost his leg when he had had an accident. Look, this verb is in the past simple. And look, we have had. Notice, had, and this is the past participle of the verb have. Had, past perfect. Now, the last activity today, we are going to correct the verbs in the following news reporter. Let's look at the picture. Look, this is a newspaper reporter. He's reporting what he saw in an UNRWA refugee camp in Africa. Look, what was going on when he arrived? Look at the picture carefully. The UNRWA had put up some tents. Workers are carrying food to the camps. Doctors are looking after patients. Now, let's look at the report and try to correct it. When I arrived soon after the war, a lot already done. UNRWA already put up a lot of tents. They dug wells and provide pumps to the camps. A helicopter carry food and medicine. Now, let's try to correct the verbs. He will say, when I arrived soon after the war, a lot had already been done. UNRWA had already put up a lot of tents. We use the past perfect because the action had been completed before he arrived. They had dug wells and provided pumps to the camps. A helicopter was carrying food and medicine. Here we use the past continuous because the action was in progress in the past. I guess this will bring us to the end of our lesson today. Thanks for watching and goodbye.